What's going on, y'all? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another episode of the We Got Y'all podcast. It is your girl, Ray P, back with my co-conspirator, my rider, shooter, all of the things, Kyron Richardson, aka K Rich. What's going on, friend?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you as always for the intro. First and foremost, if y'all not watching on YouTube, make sure you tune in real quick, man. P out here looking like sunshine. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just out here looking like butter. I will say this, right? It's good seeing your melanated, majestic mocha face.
Shut up.
And to the rest of you niggas out there, Jumbo. Uh,
Jumbo niggas.
yeah, Jumbo niggas. But yeah, man, excited to be here again for another episode of We Got Y'all.
For sure.
Covering Rachel and Kieron season 4. No episode last week.
Mm-hmm.
We said it was coming soon when we didn't know for sure, but I was in Vegas and pulled it up on the phone and was like, all right, where the episode? I'm like, actually, this is perfect time. And it actually worked out best for Rachel and myself.
For sure.
But we appreciate y'all for being here. Please remember to subscribe, like, share. We appreciate all the love and the feedback that we've been getting. We see people on YouTube and things like that because this has been a lot of fun, just the whole conversation. So I've been enjoying it. Before we get rolling, Rachel, I do want to read a comment, which we got from, actually, let me go back a little bit. We can keep going. I'll pull up the comment in a second.
Okay.
But how you feeling, though?
I feel good. Y'all know I actually was very sick for like a week and a half. So it feels good to be mostly back to normal. A little lingering situation, but for the most part, I feel good. How about you?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling
Good.
great. As I mentioned in Vegas last week, I feel recovered.
Mm-hmm.
Time zone difference. That's a jump. Jet lag. That's a jump. And just Vegas in general, the energy of Vegas. But I feel good. Took about a week to get there, but we're good. I did pull up those comments that we got on YouTube, so I do want to make sure we give some love. First, Rachel, you know who the first one comes from.
Lynn Vins.
Lynn Vins, what's going on? We appreciate you. Lynn Vins commented, Rock didn't order the kill on Famous. Neither did Marvin torture and kill Fame. It's too obvious. The writers are going to surprise us. Snaps and Pops also have cops on their payroll. Remember?
Come on, Lynn Vins.
Lynn Vins said this 10 days ago. 10 days ago is when this comment was left. I want to make sure I say that specifically because I didn't see it coming.
I didn't
know if you did, Rachel. We'll talk about it obviously when we get into the episode. But Lynn Vins, Snap and Pops have cops on the payroll. Remember, obviously they knew what was going on. Shout out to them for being right. And then Mia left a comment a few days ago. Patina Miller and Haley Kilgore are really putting it on for the theater girlies. The versatility is out of this world.
Absolutely.
I agree wholeheartedly. And on that note, I know this has been discussed in the past, specifically around like season 2, season 3. Mekhi Curtis plays Kanan Stark. The way he transformed his voice pretty much into 50 Cent for this role. There was a moment this episode, I can't remember exactly which scene it was, but his voice sounded dead on the commentary that we get from 50 at the beginning and end of the episode. Like, it's just a masterful job of turning into Kanan in real life. And I want to make sure we give him a shout out. I know it's been discussed and people are shouting him out for it, but man, it really stands out. And that just goes to the show and everybody behind it and how seriously they take the craft.
For sure.
But yeah, Rachel, go ahead and get into things. We talked about season 4, episode 8, titled Street Struck, directed by Lionel Coleman, written by Brian Walker. Synopsis: Rock goes on the offensive as Marvin and Lou attempt to contain the escalating situations. As always, Rachel, what were your opening thoughts this week?
Okay. One, shout out again to Lynn Vins because I saw her comment and I actually did something I almost never do. Is I believe I liked it on YouTube. So there's that. I'm almost, because I'm never on the internet.
Yeah, facts.
On the internet like that these days. But I was completely blown away. I saw that. I did not think Snaps and Pops at all. And I don't know why, because again, they too have cops on payroll. I genuinely did not think they were behind it. That completely gobsmacked me. So that's that there. Also, am I eating a little crow in regards to Big Lou Thomas?
Big Lou.
I've been sleeping on Lou. So excuse me. My bad, Malcolm Mays. My bad, Lou, because in my mind, I have Lou as baby brother. He's also the smallest of the bunch, the runt, dare I say. Your mama called you soft, I'm gonna call you soft. But maybe that we saw you miss easy ass shots. And I was thinking that you body Crown just because Crown was an easy mark. However, maybe not even maybe clearly Lou also is not to be played with. Maybe his name also rang. What did they say? My name.
His name rang out.
It rings in these streets. Little Marvin, indeed. So shout out to Lou because I just was not anticipating him being a big stepper like that. Again, shout out to 50 for the commentary. Oh, it doesn't look like it's saved, but I have the game feel good, or else would nobody die for it, or nobody would die for it. Clearly, the game feels good, and I did not think about people missing being a gangster the same way athletes reminisce on missing them glory days. You just miss being on the field, and I'm sure that if you like to fight or if you like to put people down, that itch probably never goes completely away.
100% correct. Public service announcement, Jay-Z. Thinks users are the only abusers. Niggas getting high within the game. He talks about that hustle. I got a hustle spirit, nigga, period. Like that's we're just as addicted to this shit as the user. Like we get a high from this. Mitch paid in full, right? I love the game. I love the hustle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like one of them ball playing niggas. Like I can leave, I can retire, but is the game gonna still love me? Like they addicted to that fame, that lifestyle. And you could see it. Shout out to Malcolm Mays, great expression acting. That smirk on his face, like I'm back, baby. I miss dropping a nigga because they was playing with my name. He had to keep reminding niggas quietly. He even told B Rilla a few minutes prior, like, nigga, I'm still a problem. Rilla said, I heard back in the day, if this shit would have happened, Kenyatta would have had a problem on his head. Nigga, I'm still a problem. And that's how we gonna get down with it. He was talking that talk any minute. And let me just say something. I'm not calling for this and I don't want to see it happen, but I've been on this train all season. That ditch Marvin's digging is getting a little too deep.
Bruh.
And it makes me feel like this is, mind you, we have 2 episodes left this season. This Lou had to come back out because Rock's gonna need this Lou because Marvin's not gonna be here. I'm just feeling that that's where we're headed. And I also will say this: if Marvin is killed this season, next season might be the last season of the series.
Okay.
I don't know if we keep this show going multiple seasons without Marvin.
Okay. I can roll with you. I can roll with you. If that's the case, we absolutely have to meet Tommy and Ghost at some point then.
Well, and you know what? The writers have been incredible the entire series. I think the way to end this series is meeting Tommy and Ghost. Like I think we had so much of Tommy and Ghost that we don't need their origin story weaved into this.
For sure.
And I believe 50 already mentioned that the idea of an origin story for Tommy and Ghost has crossed his mind and might even be in development one day on his new network. So I think if we get the last few, it'll be a cool little Easter egg, cool little moment, and we take it from there. So we'll see. I don't want Raising Kanan to end. Honestly, as much as I'm not a fan of the extensive seasons, I do think they still have maybe 2 more seasons of material at worst. But once you get Unique up out of here, I don't know where else they would go. I know you got a new connect. You can bring in a new character, but if you bring in a new character, then you're guaranteeing a couple more seasons, like a new antagonist. Yeah. I don't know. Just a lot. We'll see. Let's not talk about the ending of Raising Kanan because it's so good and they'll get there when they get there. But where do you want to start this episode? There's a lot going on, and we can get right into it. So where you want to start?
I think let's start with Marvin. That's how we open. It was, I don't want to say it was a Marvin heavy episode, but there was a lot of Marvin moving around here.
I was just gonna say, speak because it ties into this. One of my main thoughts about this episode was the cinematography was incredible.
It was.
And it was simple things such as this opening scene that reminded me of like Avengers Infinity War. When for all of you who are the Marvel fans and out there, the opening of Avengers Infinity War was just kind of this chaos, and you have no idea how you got there. And it was the same thing with this episode. Like you see bodies, you see the camera panning, you look. It seems like there was some destruction in this room, and you have no idea how you even got there. But it just reminded me of that. And if y'all know what I'm talking about with Thor on the plane and all that, and Loki, anyway, it was just great storytelling and cinematography. I love that we were just dumped in this room, like, oh shit, they're getting after it. And it went perfect with 50's narration, like all that planning shit out the window. Like, nigga, it's on.
Sure. Yeah, no, I ain't seen nothing but Black Panther. So I ain't got nothing for you, but I did love the way that the episode opened. I had to stop and I'm like, did I skip? I know I skipped the credits or the intro, but did I fast forward too much? Like, did it go too far? But no, it literally just opens in the midst of a robbery. And shout out to Marvin. I think a couple episodes back, I questioned, what does the crew look like? What does the crew's muscle actually look like? Because every time we've seen Quan, he's surrounded by 50-11 niggas. So the fact that three of them were able to get the drop on Quan and all of his crew, essentially, because I'm sure it was bodies outside before we get to the other three in the room. Shout out to them, because that Thomas machine is something serious. And again, Quan, you tried to turn the Thomas water off. Actually, I'm turning all your shit off. So shout out to Marvin. And even though Marvin's voice is very distinctive, almost as much as Patina Miller's or as Rock's character, I was running in my mind like, is that Marvin? Is that Marvin? Because I really didn't know. And lo and behold, of course it was. I don't know how Quan thought he was going to walk out of there alive.
Because he didn't think it was Marvin.
Okay.
He thought this was a legit robbery.
A legit robbery. Okay.
And if it was a legit robbery, there might be a good chance, had you not known my identity, I can dip up out of here. Obviously, you're gonna put money in the streets to find out who did it. But if it's a nobody or no name, it's whatever. I got beef with your sister. I got beef with y'all. I can't let you walk away. You can't know I did this and leave. As soon as Marvin lifted up that mask, I'm like, oh, it's over. It's over for Quan. The crazy thing is your Rock sister.
Brother.
I mean, you're Rock's brother. We've been talking about this, kind of the power struggle. And Marvin's never done anything to let us know that he would fight his sister for the crown. He's actually done the opposite. He's deferred to her many times. Maybe some early seasons there was a little bit of pushback, but ever since he got right, he's deferred to Rock. Cool with being number two. Toast. I was about to say Stefano. Fuck it, Stefano. I'm about to say Stefano. Excuse me. So Stefano that that's not a job that he wants, but it keeps getting brought up, and it's getting brought up for a reason. The look on Marvin's face when Quan said, "You're Rock's brother," he was almost offended, because you are diminishing who I am as a whole to being someone. It's like the sidekick. Oh, that's such and such daughter. That's such and such
for sure
brother. Like, nah, nigga, I'm a person. Like, and I'm a problem, nigga. I'm about to drop.
I'm a problem. You know, it's interesting because you and I are both younger siblings. For a very long time, I was my brother's little sister. Oh yeah, da 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 da. But really, in college is probably when things shifted because I stayed home. So people who knew both of us, and it was finally like, oh, I didn't even know that was your brother. I didn't know this was a thing. It's difficult, and I think in that change, my brother started to experience, oh, you're Rachel's brother. I didn't know that. Da 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 da. That's Ray P's brother. I never made the connection.
No, I was about to say they be hitting me with that too. Oh, you Rachel's co-host?
Yeah, shut up.
I'm like, yeah, that's me.
So I think that for Lou to hear that about maybe Marvin, maybe Rock, that's something different. But Marvin is the oldest, and Marvin is coming off of being the family fuck up. He's changed his life. He's this, that, and the third. Don't nobody, I already have to deal with being little brothered, essentially, by my little sister. She can get that shit off, but I'm really kind of sick of other niggas. And so here we are, like, actually, yep, I am. And also, I'm about to get you the fuck up out of here. Some of that is, I have to at this point, because now you're going to be after us if I let you live. And two, nigga, bang, bang. It is what it is. I'm Big Marvin. And everybody needs to know that I'm back. I'm no longer on drugs. I'm no longer the fuck up side eye. So I felt bad, but I understood. Like, no, nigga.
I will say this. I'm sorry, not to cut you off. I will say this though. That tells you everything you need to know about Quan.
Yeah.
That you don't know that's Marvin, not by the voice, but the fact that your first thing was your Rock's brother. Now you Marvin Thomas. You should know that. You should know your enemies as well as you know yourself. Especially in a game like this, in a business like this. So the fact that he could pull up and probably take out your whole crew makes sense because you didn't have him on your radar. Whereas, even though it didn't end up well for them, Kenyatta, he's scoping the scene. It's not just be real, it's everybody that's getting involved with this got to go. And I'm gonna make sure if anybody exposes their face to this, it's gonna be taken the same way. And that mullet had to go too. So it was a win-win for everybody.
Well,
so
the mullet's still alive with David.
Yeah, the mullet's still alive with David. You're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Moving on with Marvin this episode, we see him meeting with Early, picking up a bag. We also found out it's been a while since he had been through, and business is good for Early. Early's in good spirits, and Marvin happens to ask, you know what? Remember that guy that was owing you money? Is he paying? He catching up on his payments? His money's no good. Marvin confirms what he already knows, which is the guy who's connected was killed by not only Early, but Early's talkative ass cousin,
Londell.
Not only that, Rachel, Early was kind of defiant and said, look, nigga, I asked you, you said do what I got to do. Now, one can argue that do what you got to do doesn't mean kill the nigga and dump him in the river. Beat him up, rough him up a little bit, get your bread. But they went straight to the extreme of, nah, he's no longer here, sleeping with the fishes, as they say. And now Marvin knows he has a real problem. And Early, like, nigga, this is on you just as much as it's on me. And he is absolutely correct. What do you think about this whole situation that's going on right now? Because obviously it was also discussed, since we're talking about Marvin and Rachel, later meeting with Stefano. You wouldn't happen to know anything about this, right? Because I thought it was a family issue, but it could be more than that.
Yeah. Well, one, Stefano knows, which is unfortunate for Marvin, and those cement boots that come in one size fit all. You were right. Let's start there. That Early was gonna put Richard Damas. That Early was gonna come back and put it on Marvin. Because to your point, just because I say handle it, that doesn't mean kill the nigga. I would be curious too if Howard Beach guy, because I don't think we ever got a name for him.
I don't think so.
If with the previous bookie, he also was carrying a balance with him, or I'm bucking up against this new nigga who I don't even know. I don't give a fuck about. I'm keeping my bread. It is what it is. And just the audacity um of being somebody that's connected. Like, I really don't give a fuck about you. I'm essentially untouchable. Even though I haven't made my own bones, my daddy, my brother, my uncle, my cousin, everybody got it. Like,
probably called that
I'm
nigga.
insulated.
Probably called that nigga Mooly and told him to get the fuck out of his face.
Exactly. So I'm very curious because just as easy as we see Marvin put down Londell um at the end of the episode, he's going to have to also put down Early in
100%.
order to put a cap on this. Also, Marvin made mention when he confessed to Rock that he got Early to do this and Early fucked the shit up essentially. He said Early keeps things to the chest. Mind you, none of the Thomases and none of the audience, or the audience knows, but none of the characters know yet that Early is who was behind rehabilitating Unique yet.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 more episodes. That has to come out very soon. And I think that may in turn become the catalyst behind Marvin. And even if it's not Marvin, then Raquel putting Early down, because he's gonna have to go. And I think that may be the thing that is, I don't even want to say it saves Marvin with Stefano, but that relationship is forever tainted at this point, no matter what. Even if I don't put you in those cement bricks or cement boots, I can't fuck with you. All these side deals we've been doing, shit's kaput. I don't know if I can in turn stay in business with your sister, even though we got the shit with Hafiz popping off now, because we did see the work finally come in.
Yes to everything you said.
Mm-hmm.
Few observations. I think it's over for Marvin anyway, because the dot connections are too easy at this point.
Yeah.
The degrees of separation have diminished.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put down Early, which you have
to,
Stefano, now it becomes, even if Stefano doesn't know, which we know he knows, the famous, listen, anybody that asks you a question like that, they know the answer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's 2 bookies now.
Yep.
Whether you killed him or not, that's 2 bookies that you have been involved with that have disappeared or have ended up dead. I'm not going to let it be a third.
I'm not going to let it be a third.
So there's that business right there. The main business with Rock, now that's something I can see a flip.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a flip where the same conversation Stefano had with Marvin about replacing Rock, he has with Rock about getting rid of Marvin.
Okay.
And maybe it's on some, we've seen Stefano this season question Rock and say, I don't know where the fuck you get your ambition from.
Mm-hmm.
He knows Rock is a businesswoman.
Yeah.
Businesswoman, excuse me. She's ambitious. You just became the supplier.
Mm-hmm.
Rock's eyes when she saw that shipment come in was like, look, I'm sure that's the same look she had when Kanan was born. Like, she was in it. She couldn't believe it. She's excited. We don't really see Rock excited too much.
No.
We're about to change the game again, Marvin. She pointing at him, smiling the whole 9. I would not be shocked if Stefano approaches Rock and says, listen, you got all this weight. You literally have no one to move it, and you're going to need us. If you really want to be who you say you want to be, you got to get rid of Marvin. And I think that ties in with the conversations that Juke and Kanan have had, and they're laying the foundation. Rock, unfortunately, when you make the decisions you make, you lose the benefit of being trustworthy, or not even trustworthy. You lose the benefit of having people think the best of you.
Yeah, for sure.
There's nothing that Rock won't do. Stefano knows this. Kanan knows this. Anybody involved in the street, Snapped and Pops mentioned, I'm hearing Rock's name about the Quan shit. And guess what? Juke's the only person this whole season like, nah. Everybody else, it makes sense because Rock can get down and get dirty. And when you lose that benefit of the doubt, because there's certain things, if somebody came to me and said Rachel did this, I'm going to know right away Rachel either did that shit or hell no, there's no way There's no way Rachel would do no shit like that.
Yeah.
She hasn't reached the point of anything's on the table. I hear the wildest shit about it. I'm like, you know what? She do move like that. Nah, people have that distinction, right? That's what sets us aside for care. That's why I said I know it's true and I know it's not. But Rock has lost that, and when you lost that in the streets, you're in a dangerous place because we might take you out just for our own safety. And I can see Stefano saying that to her and questioning that family loyalty. You gonna let this nigga fuck up everything the same way he has been doing, or you gonna stand tall and maybe try to get Stefano? You get Stefano, that's a whole war that you're not gonna win. So it's a very tricky conversation. And I also want to say one other thing: the leadership differences between Rock and Marvin. That's why Rock's in charge. Marvin told that nigga very passively, do what you got to do. Told earlier. When it was time to press down Terry, Rock made it very clear. Rough him up some, but that's it. Don't press too hard.
Yeah.
Marvin should have had that same conversation with early. Don't press too hard, but do what you got to do. I'm just saying that.
He should have, but he didn't. And here we are. I would be very curious because I could 1000% see Stefano coming to Rock like, you know what, you have to get rid of him. And remember when maybe 2 episodes ago now, when Rock said he could try to flip this shit on us in regards to Stefano. He could go against us. He could in turn start a war, even though he's our ally now. It started one way, but it might actually be another. And I think what you just said are the seedlings to that of what we're going to see. Because even though, y'all know I was on my Raquel trip last episode and not calling her Rock, our girl is serious and she will do quote unquote anything. But I think that they are giving her they're putting a little bit too much on it. They're making it seem like she's totally heartless, and she's not, even though she has had to be extremely stoic, stone-faced like a rock. And Juke, ironically enough, is the only person who maintains that Rock is not all evil encompassing.
What do you think? What do you think that is?
Raquel raised Juke. The only nurturing and love that she got for 14 years at least came from Rock. She trusts her with the abortion. She trusts her with things and has seen her vulnerable. She's talked about opening her heart with Symphony and this, that, and the third in a way with Juke that nobody else has seen. There's a level of intimacy in a familiar way. A level of intimacy that Rock and Juke share as essentially the only women in the fold, that even though Rock is Kanan's mother, she's done some fucked up shit. She hasn't done shit to Juke. You know what I'm saying? She's done some shit to Kanan. Regardless, you've put your son in harm's way. You've put your son in a position to kill his father. Not once, but now twice, as to which even though Rock finished the job, like, I could see where your son would have some mistrust for you, even though I am sick of Kanan coming at Rock sideways, you know?
Yeah.
Shout out to Juke for that. And I thought that it was very interesting while they were putting Mother Thomas's clothing away, that I felt like Juke was trying to feel Rock out.
Yeah, 100%.
Coming off of the conversation with Kanan and whatever other beliefs Juke may be holding.
Yeah.
We'll get to it, but I'm actually surprised that she does not have any further suspicion of Snaps and Pop. Because when we first meet them, Juke is very much like, Kanan, stay the fuck away from them. Like, these is old gangsters. You don't need to be around them. You don't need to be in business with them. But she knows that Kanan is still fucking with them. She knows everything. I'm surprised that there is not a wheel turning for her in regards to them at this current juncture when we know that you were not fucking with them at all at their introduction to us.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the emotional side of things where you just don't think clearly. You're not putting the pieces together because you're so hell bent on finding out who did it.
Yeah.
Versus sitting down for a second and says, all right, who has a motive, and really going through the steps. It just seems very odd. And I obviously Rock is looking at it as streets got him for one reason or another. Very symbolic that they're cleaning out Joyce's closet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just getting those skeletons, not in a real way, but just the symbolism of it. And Juke is 100% feeling her out.
Yeah.
And I think it's very interesting that Rock brings up, have you heard anything about Fame? Because I think we had one of these voiceovers, actually episode 1. Sometimes you can look at things wrong. You're just looking at it wrong.
Yeah.
All the things are there. You're just looking at it wrong. Now that Juke has it in her head that Rock could have done it, maybe that comment doesn't seem like love and concern. Maybe it seems like
fishing.
Exactly. Exactly. So that is very fascinating. It doesn't seem like Juke is on board with the Rock did it conversation, but it's something that's in the back of my mind.
For sure.
I'm going to need some solid 100% proof. You know what? You do have a questionable character now that Kanan brings it up. You did love D-Wiz, and look what happened to him.
When Kanan said that, did Rock love D-Wiz though?
I don't think, not the way she loved Famous.
Not the way that she loved Famous. I felt like, and even back then at season 1, D-Wiz was the one who was being boisterous about whatever he thought he knew about the game and this, that, and the third. This is just one of your stupid ass little friends.
Exactly. That's a friend that said that boy's an idiot. Like, when your parents tell you that kid's an idiot, like, stay away from them, that was D-Wiz.
Very much so. And for as much as Famous was also a fool, everybody knew that that was Kanan's real friend. And we learned in his special episode that relationship goes back to kindergarten. Rock put money in Fame's pocket for keeping his mouth shut, essentially. She was looking out for Famous the same way she was looking out for Kanan. D-Wiz did not have that same currency with Rock, which is why he was expendable when the streets needed a body. So I don't think that that's fair of Kanan. But again, to your point, being young, being emotional about the situation, and just looking for answers. And shout out to Rock for, again, having that mother's intuition in knowing her son. Kanan's going to do something stupid if he think he know who put Fame down. I know my son. I know that he's, one, not wrapped too tight, and 2, he's a hothead. Don't know where he could have possibly gotten that from in our amazing family, but he's got it,
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, and I'm curious. And Rock has continuously in these 4 seasons asked Juke to look over Kanan. Watch out for your cousin. Look out for him. And while we know Juke is older, 9 months, maybe a year, she is very much the Rock of that next generation.
So, when you were talking about earlier about Roxanne Juke's relationship, that trust, I completely forgot when Juke was struggling with her identity and sexual orientation. Rock was one that openly brought it in, because you brought up the conversation about Symphony. And when she had that with him, that's when she found out that Juke liked girls, and she didn't shun her or anything. She kind of smiled and, looked at the beauty of having someone and knowing what that's like to share that type of feeling with the person. So yeah, it's way deeper between them, because like you said, there's no damage done. You haven't done anything wrong to me. And that's, we know people like that, right?
For sure.
I know you're not the best, maybe most upright person. I know for a fact you've done some shit, but you ain't never done nothing to me.
Right.
So until that bridge is crossed, I guess I gotta fuck with you a little bit, unless you're moving so foul that it's too bad, it's too far gone. But Juka's also a good sense of character, and she's very good at minding her business and also understanding that everything has a root. So yeah, maybe y'all got a complicated relationship, but that's between y'all, and that goes deeper than anything I can comprehend. We'll keep it there. To continue the conversation with Rock, Crystal pulls up.
Shout out to Crystal.
Yeah, and we see
Rock like it more and more. I didn't see it for Crystal at the fuck all.
Listen, great character development by the writer, because she went from someone that's why are you here to okay, I can see that, and I see the moral compass in her, and I can see more of her reason for being around.
Before you get into it,
yeah.
Crystal was always supposed to be with Kanan. And I think initially I was mad, and we all were, about the Aisha of it all. But Aisha would not have been good in this situation, in this present time, for what Kanan has going on. Go ahead.
Great point. What was the old girl from early seasons with the little sister living in the dope house? What was her name? What happened to her?
I don't remember her name.
I don't know. Either way, I thought about her. Like, man, Kanan was on her tough.
Yeah.
Started with a D, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, real quick before I get into the whole Crystal part of it, early in the episode, just very briefly, we see we see Rock staking out the tailor shop.
Yeah.
Just trying to get a drop on Unique. I just think that's something to keep an eye on for these next couple of episodes. But Crystal pulls up after having a conversation with Kanan, and Kanan telling her pretty much, hey, Delaware, wherever you got to go with your family. Streets is hot right now. I can't save you. I can't protect you. I don't want you around for this shit. One of the things I love the most about Crystal is she tells Kanan what he needs to hear.
For sure.
Which is a sign of someone who truly loves you. I'm not going to sit here and just massage your back and let you vent and say, yeah, go get her. Like, nah, I'm going to let you know my opinion. You looking at this wrong. I don't think she did that. I was looking at Rock because maybe I too might be skeptical of Rock.
For sure. Why wouldn't I be?
Exactly. After all the shit you done told me. I seen that look. That ain't someone who was faking it. Like, she really was hurt. She really was sad about that. She's concerned about you. Like, pure concern. And when she goes to see Rock is kind of shrugging it off. Maybe because it goes the other way. I also have some reservation about you too. So your advice ain't shit. You ain't a mother. Rock is good to pull that out. Like, you not me, so you can't tell me what to do with my son. But I am a daughter. I am a child. And I can tell you that I had a fucked up mother. And we know from previous episodes, they briefly mentioned it. It sounds like it sounds like Crystal's mom's boyfriend was molesting her.
Yes.
And her mother didn't do anything about it to protect her. And that is why Crystal ended up leaving and becoming who she is. And Rock, I know you're better than my mother, but I also know my mother said the same shit to me when she didn't want to own up to her shit. So take that for what it is. And it resonated with Rock. Rock knows she's right.
She is, but see, I didn't think that was fair because obviously Crystal's mother has not been shown. We don't know, other than that one-off conversation with she and Kanan, or she and Juke, whoever it was with, about the stepfather or the boyfriend. We've watched Rock try to protect Kanan for the last 4 seasons. We've watched Raquel literally put her own life on the line for the protection of her son. So again, I hear you, and I appreciate that Rock received it, but I would have been like, bitch, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, because again, you're getting one side, and maybe that may be how Kanan is portraying me to you, but that is not fair and not the truth of the relationship that Rock has, and of the love that Rock has for Kanan. It's not the same. I've tried to keep you away from it. I wanted you to go to school. You refuse to be out of the life. Okay, do it this way. I want you to follow these directions. At every turn, Kanan has bucked against her. At every single turn, he's done the opposite of what she told him to do. He always thinks somebody else knows better. You trust Snaps and Pop more than your own mama.
Damn.
I don't fuck with that.
Okay, you're right, and I'm not arguing it. You made a great point.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing to say against it, but minor pushback. He has a reason to not trust Rock. I got to give Kanan.
Sure, yeah, sure. But not less than these other niggas. Your head, if you've learned nothing, say you didn't learn it from Rock, you learned it from Lou and Marvin. Keep your head always on the swivel. If I can't trust my mama, I damn sure can't put blind trust in these motherfuckers who are known hustlers and have been in the game for the last 40 years and run the street. That's the naivete of Kanan that pisses me off.
You just tipped them off.
Come on, and you don't even know it. Snap and Pop said, if all you surrounded by his goofies, you the biggest goofy, or whatever the fuck they said. That's Kanan. You're literally giving them the game. They did not spare you. You are a pawn, and you don't even fucking know it.
Let's put a pin in that. We'll come back to Snap.
We'll get back to it.
But speaking of goofies, Rachel, Unique looking at OC. The fuck this goofy ass nigga want? What? We see Unique back at the tailor shop. We also see, before he gets there, OC is there pacing, frantic, stressed. I need safe passage to Florida. Kanan knows. I don't know how he knows. I just know that he does. I haven't been home in days because I'm afraid that he's going to pull up on me. Well, my nigga, if you think Kanan knows, then why the fuck are you here?
Come on.
And OC, we've been seeing it. He's a peculiar individual. He's been that since we met him. And I can also see him being like a gnat.
Yeah.
Just always flying around.
He little.
Just get a hold of him. Like, what the fuck? Like I say, even the way, it's not funny, but the way that nigga Unique, the fuck this goofy ass nigga want. Like, no respect. No respect, bro. This man is pleading with you. Pleading with you for his life. Like, bro, they're about to get me. And then because he's so annoying, and to put on top of it, Unique just got the news that Quan was taken out. Yeah. Connect is gone. Putting a major cog in all of his plans that he has with Phil Russo and to take out Rock. No Connect, no money. I'm already pissed off. You already annoying. I got the bread from you. There's nothing else that you can do for me. You can go ahead and leave like you want to leave, but not in the sense that you think. And he shoots him dead right on the spot. OC gone, Rachel.
OC gone. Our niggas dead. So I was wrong. I thought that OC and Unique had a much better relationship, maybe even familial. But clearly not. It was truly, I'm using you as a pawn, maybe for your assistance. But OC didn't have to tell Unique everything. And I don't think that we'll get it. But yeah, I can use you and I can be your money man. But if you were in fact any way loyal to Kanan, yes, I'm gonna save my own life. Howsoever, you didn't have to give him everything. You didn't have to tell Kanan or tell Unique that Kanan was skimming off the top. You didn't have to break in and give him that money. You know what I'm saying? It was stuff that you could have kept to the chest. So I think in the unraveling of it all, we will find that there's more to that. I was not shocked when Unique shot him. I was obviously taken aback because wow, how violent.
Yeah.
But did you pay attention to the Akbar and the rest of the crew's faces? Because yes, OC is annoying. He's been getting on our nerves all day up in here. This is a little ass kid. But it's grown man business. Ain't no little ass kids here. But if you looked at all their faces, they was all like, yo, what the fuck? Huh. If you would take this little nigga out who actually got you some money, because the reality is that we haven't gotten you shit. Not for real, for real. The dope has been limited. What you did to that little nigga, there is nothing that would stop you from putting me in the dirt in the very same way.
Rachel, he did 0 things wrong. OC's worst crime was being annoying.
As to which a little ad, what do you expect from a what 15-year-old kid?
I didn't think about it until you said it, and I'm so glad you did, because I didn't do anything. And I got 1 to the head, 2 to the chest.
That's one. And you're stressed about now Quan being up out of here. Yo plug. You still got to make the payments to Russo. Russo told him, just like Snap and Pops told Kanan, nigga, I want my money on time. Yo deficit, that has nothing to do with me. This plan is still in existence. It's still in the works. You still have to pay what you owe. OC ass. He had it coming, unfortunately, because you tried to play both sides and you can't do it. You got too big for your britches. Think of the way his attitude shifted when he thought he had an ally, quote unquote, in Unique.
And that just shows you how young he is for not knowing that Unique was going to be on that shit. But he was also in a tough position because Unique already threatened to kill him. Which at that point, do you tell, if he's letting you go back to work, I would like to think, if I'm OC, I'll let Kanan know, like, yo, this nigga just robbed us. He wants me to work for you or work for him. I'm letting you know so we can set up the long play to get him. OC's not thinking like that, but I'm just saying.
He's not, but neither is Kanan, because ain't no way I'm coming back and telling you that Unique robbed me and he let me live and I just let you come back to work.
Yeah, because like
no other scrutiny, no other eyes on the scene, this, that, and the third watching you. Like, because what made him just let you live?
I think he knew that he wasn't a gangster. I can control this little nigga. He's scared. And when somebody's scared, I can get them to do anything I want them to do.
Right. But if I'm Kanan, if I'm the head of the organization,
oh yeah, no, yeah, you're right.
I have to be looking at somebody who I know is scary. I got to look at you. This nigga let you live because you scary, okay. But it doesn't mean that you can't be used as a pawn. It's not over. If this nigga has continued to hit, we know that he's been behind all these robberies, all this shit with my mom's business at the third. And he just let you go.
You know what? I'm just not thinking about this. Why hasn't Kanan put those dots together? Because they were in Rock's kitchen.
Come on.
When Rock let them know that Unique is back, and he was the one behind the Chinese robbery, the murders. I wonder why Kanan wouldn't think that the first person of who robbed him might be Unique. At least be a suspect. At least say, like, I wonder if he's the same nigga that robbed me. I don't know. That's just a little bit weird. Go ahead.
Because he looks at that as Rock's problem and not his.
Compared to if they were in line, he would look at it as his problem.
These kids, man.
Just very briefly, I really did enjoy the conversation with Phil Russo that Unique had. Only because it's just a reminder how this works. Like you said, similar to Snap and Pops with Kanan. Your shit ain't got nothing to do with me, bro. I expect my money on time. So speak for yourself about business being fucked up. Unique says she out here making us look like bitches. Once again, my nigga, speak for yourself. I ain't got nothing to do with that. We in a business relationship. I want my money on Monday. Stop playing with me. And Unique is really behind the 8 ball. Before I continue on with, he's ready for war, and the cop, Unique is ready for war, which is why he goes to Russo in the first place, and he's telling everybody. But as he's giving this speech, the detective, Garcia comes in and talks to him about Ronnie. Before I get that and we wrap up the Unique conversation, I want to wrap up the Kanan OC part of it. Yeah. Were you surprised? Not even were you surprised. Let me rephrase this. Why do you think Kanan showed up to OC's house after they found out that he passed?
A couple reasons. One, to see who are there, to see if there's any clue, if anybody's heard anything or hear what the streets are saying. Two, to look at OC's brother, who we know tried Juke, who had to get pistol whipped. 3, and the order could be interchangeable. I think Kanan really did fuck with OC up until, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He defended him against Crystal, even though he wasn't listening to his woman yet again. She tried to tell him something was fishy about that nigga. I think that he cared about OC. He fucked with him. He thought that he was somebody that he could trust more than the other guys. So let me come also pay my respects, but also see what the fuck niggas is talking about.
Yeah. That was a lot of, we didn't get a dollar amount, but I wonder how much money was taken. And now I'm curious as to how all of this gets found out when it comes to the unique of it all. I don't know if it's one of those confession things. I don't know. We'll see. Going back to unique, Garcia pulls up. They're trying to pin this Ronnie Howard murder on Unique, or at least tie him in some way. What do you think about this? Is this going to be an effective way to get Unique out of here? Is anything going to come of this investigation? I'm about tired of Garcia.
Yeah, no.
I will say
that. Garcia is just grasping at straws. He's doing whatever it is that he can to figure out what's what. I do still think that Garcia is low-key dirty, even though he's not on Rock's payroll or Snaps and Pop's payroll. Doesn't mean he's not on anybody's. So there's that. You saw him also pull up on Juke. So again, I think that he's just trying to figure out what he can. It was interesting, however, that in that discussion with Unique, Garcia never mentioned Rock. And that matters because people continue to tell to tell Unique in so many ways that Raquel had nothing to do with trying to get him up out of here. And he refuses to receive it, but I thought that was very important that her name never came up in that discussion, because that should tell you she and whatever bullshit she has going on is so far away from what we think happened to Howard and essentially to you and your brother. Like, no, it doesn't make sense for us because she's not involved. She didn't do shit.
And if anybody's going to lie for our benefit, it would be us.
For sure.
To make you think that. But it's not even on our radar because that shit ain't even true. We just trying to find out what happened. And it's got to be an interesting thing at this point to be the only cop or one of the only 2 cops to care about the whole Howard situation. Put that to bed. Also thought it was very interesting, and maybe it was just a throwaway. I've been on the Burke train as far as the dad coming back. The dad's not coming back.
No.
But I did think it was interesting that Garcia did mention Burke's name. Burke told me you gave her a lot of good information, which Juke is like, damn, like, chill. You're going to get me killed in here. We've been talking about it. I don't know how it's going to happen. Juke becoming a police officer. Still waiting to see how that entry happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what Garcia ends up with and where this lands. I don't know where this investigation is going to go. That's the one thing I'm not sure of with the last 2 episodes, how all of this is going to tie in or leave. I would imagine we see the chief or the captain again before this season finishes. What you about to say?
I agree, but I just had a thought literally that what if, because of everything with Juke, with Marvin, that this is what makes Rock have to drop the dime on Stefano that Andre was telling her was available to her to protect her family.
You could be on to something because there's no way they can go to war with Stefano. Like, there's no way. There's just not. Just wrap the series up. Yeah. Everybody gone. And we know that didn't happen. So keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on that, Rachel.
Literally.
Keep an eye on that. So
it came to me.
We didn't really talk much about it, but I just want to highlight because Juke didn't have her really own standalone in this episode. It was usually tied. We saw the rock scene, and then otherwise we saw her with Kanan trying to figure things out. I do want to mention her only standalone scene when she did go. She volunteered to Kanan, like, yo, let me go talk to his moms. Like, you're not gonna do it right. I can go up there and see what's going on. OC's brother's there. I was just saying, man, the way he said, I got something on the stove, you need to come in. Niggas is not that inviting in Southside Queens.
Not at all.
No, but we know Drew can handle herself. I just love the fact that this scene is further showing Juke loves that gun.
She loves it.
She loves it. Anytime she gets a reason to use it, she will. Rightfully so in this scenario. Nigga got handsy. Showed him that he shouldn't have put his hands on me.
Yeah.
Just to whip that nigga, pointed the gun at him, got the information she needed. Slick ass mouth told him, nigga, you could have saved yourself a lump on the head had you told me that shit at the door.
I ain't friendly.
I'm not. I told you I ain't friendly. That needs to turn into like a GIF. The same way Rock, I mentioned her description, or I described how she looked when she saw those bricks and realized she was the one. Duke is having that same feeling with that gun. She's in love with it.
For sure.
In love with it and ready to check a nigga. Like, she finally has that control and that power.
Yeah.
You said what?
To correct the nigga.
Shout out to the brothers. Shout out to the brothers. But I just wanted to shout that out. There's really nothing to talk about. It's more so just emphasize and listen. Everything you think about Juke, we're going to show you that it's true. With that being said,
before we go off of Unique, we didn't really talk about him pulling up on Snaps and Pop.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
Oh,
no, I wasn't about to say that, but I was about to say, so we really have the Snaps and Pops, Kanan / Unique of it all, and we also have the Lou portion of this, Lou and B Rilla of it. Before we get out of here, which one do you want to start with, and what do you want to end?
Let's start with Kanan, since again, Kanan light low key. Also, this episode, I think I want to end with Lou, just because.
Okay. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, that was a big character development. So, just to go to before we get to Lou, because it's only one other thing with Unique, like you said. So we'll tackle it. Unique does pull up on Snap and Pop.
Yeah.
And proposes that they join him and leave Rock. What you thinking, Ray?
I'm with Snaps and Pop. We've seen you more now than all the years that you was in business before. Again, grasping for straws, looking for some sort of muscle. If Quan doesn't get put down, even though Unique saw Snaps and Pop before, he doesn't make this same try to make this same deal with them.
Nope.
So you've got to get on your feet. You know that you have to make X amount of payments. Again, all of the issue was there. All of the info was there. You're looking at it wrong, because here's the reality. Unique doesn't know that Snaps and Pops green lit Kanan killing Ronnie. You have no idea what you're doing, what you're attempting to do. Also, not in your right damn mind. I appreciated that Snaps and Pops kind of said, okay, nigga, we'll figure it out. We'll let you know. We'll get to you. Patience has not been on Unique's side. So I would be very curious if in these last two, how he reacts to either not getting an answer or not getting the answer that he wants from them.
I don't necessarily want to get into the prediction portion of things. I'm just trying to see what happens in these two episodes as to where all of this truth comes out. When Kanan realizes that it wasn't Rock that put down Fame, when Unique realizes that the people he's coming to for help is the one that really set things up, when Unique realizes that Rock wasn't the one that set everything up. There's just a lot of like weaved webs. And I don't know how it's going to come to the surface, because as we know and we learned episode 1, Unique's not Unique anymore.
Right.
And I don't know if he's going to, I don't even know if he has the the skill of comprehension and understanding what's really going on or accepting the fact that that's true. I think he's similar to what Crystal told Kanan. You're so mad at Rock that anything bad that happens to you, you're going to blame it on her. Unique is the same way. Anything that bad happens, he's going to blame it on Rock. Even though, to your point, Rachel, you just said this, everybody has been telling you, nigga, I ain't heard that. Like, you the first one bringing that information to me. He is grasping at straws and is very, you said it earlier, had Quan not been killed, he wouldn't have been there. Had Phil Russo back to him, he wouldn't have been there.
Correct.
If Phil had said, yeah, let's get it, wouldn't have been none of that. Snap and Pops are such interesting characters to me.
Shout out to Wendell Pierce.
Wire alum. Because they are the ideal street person.
For sure.
Which is, no one really knows about us. We're a unit, husband and wife, forced to be reckoned with, and we got our hands in a little bit of everything. Right? We got our hands in a little bit of everything. The fact that they can even pull all of this off without anybody suspecting them is phenomenal in its own right. And they seem extremely connected. You have to go through levels, a la Stefano, to get to them.
Yeah.
You can't just walk in my spot.
Right.
You can't just pull up outside of my card game early and rock Londale. Like, no, there's going to be a lot more that goes into that. And what was your initial thought, Rachel, when we get the reveal that Snap and Pops were behind the Fame murder?
Bruh, like I said, it took my breath away. Do you hear me?
I had to rewind it to make sure that I heard it right.
I was so taken aback. And again, shout out to Erica Woods, who is Pops.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to pull up her name. Shout out to her since we shouted out Wendell Pierce. I just did not see that coming. And again, shout out to Lynn Vince, because she said it, like you said, 10 days ago. And I read it. I'm like, okay, yeah, they do. But I just didn't understand why they will be coming after Famous. But they said it. What he was telling affects us too. Again, Snaps and Pops been around for a long time. They've been in business with a little bit of everybody. Everybody has to pay what they owe to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they like the tolls. You know, if you want to move around, you got to pay the toll.
I know they're not in Harlem, but it wouldn't surprise me if there were some old stories about them running numbers for Bumpy Johnson or some other shit back in the day, because they connected. They've been connected. They've seen it all. They're like the Forrest Gump. They're like the Forrest Gump of drug dealing in New York.
Absolutely. And when you consider all that they've done, and even though Rock is the one entangled, quote unquote, with the Italians, it would not at all be surprising if they were involved with the Bumpy Johnson or somebody else throughout the other boroughs, because you have to get started somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's work everywhere, I'm assuming. I don't know about the street life. Okay.
Shout out to street life.
Shout out to the street life. I don't know nothing about it. It's not my ministry. But the fact that everyone except Rock, for the most part, is underestimating their influence, their power, is really kind of crazy to me. Rock, when she had her one misstep with them and thinking that because of the hits that they would back her because their business is also affected, Snaps and Pop are only loyal to each other. Anybody else is dispensable. They are non-entities, essentially. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get what I can get, pay me what you owe, but beyond that, nigga, I'm cool. We locked in. The rest of y'all are outliers, and it is what it is. A foolish mistake on all of their parts. on all of their parts. So in learning that they are behind Famous getting put down like that, and to Quells and them point, yes, there was the police. To Kanan's point, yes, that hit. The police weren't working alone. That call came from the streets. Too bad you are not paying attention to the right damn boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
When Kanan said to Juke, Snaps and Pop, I know that they got police on their payroll. Why don't there was no trigger, no nothing like, oh shit. Could they be involved? But for your mom, who's also in the game, you know she got police on her payroll. You know that. Aside from seeing her hand this money to these two officers.
That's the most upsetting thing about it, though, Rachel.
Yeah,
like,
no,
you don't have anything except for seeing her hand money to officers, which is not out of the norm. I could see if it was like, I've never seen you do that before. Yep. That's weird. This is what she does.
Come on.
For years, and you're aware of that. So why I wish he had a little bit more to go off if he's going to give her that much hell and give everyone else that much grace.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a little bit surprised. We talked about the emotion of it, that Juke wasn't the one that kind of put the pieces, because she's good at that. And said, hold on, they got cops on payroll too. You mentioned it earlier in this episode, Rachel. Juke is the first one to tell Kanan, don't get in business with these niggas.
Yep.
I'm skeptical of them. I'm skeptical of you telling me that you think Rock did this too. So I'm skeptical of that. Who else has a motive?
Come on.
Who else could suffer from Fame talking? Who else has the access to touch him? And if the cops things is true, who has access to cops?
Yep.
Now, it's easier for us to say this, but if you're in the game, that should be like second nature. That's how you solve problems. Who has the motive? Who has the access? Who has the balls? And then you take it from there. You narrow down your list. Once again, I just said it. Can't wait to see how all of this kind of comes together and when the light bulb moments happen, because someone has to be thinking this. And maybe because everybody got their own shit going on. Here's the beauty of this season in the writing of it, without necessarily slapping us in the head with it. There are big things going on with everyone's individual life, like major moves. I'm trying to be a supplier. Like I'm not really too invested. As much as Rock loves Fame, I don't really have the time or the energy or resources to invest what really happened to him. Niggas die every day, B.
Period.
And I know I didn't have nothing to do with it. And I know Fame was just into his own shit. He got a case. Could have been anyone. I don't know, man. I don't see how Snap and Pops get the benefit of the doubt, or not even the question. Nobody's even asking them. And we see Kanan meet with them. And we said it earlier in the episode, but he tips them off. I thought about you, by the way. Snaps and Pops. When they had that dog, and Rachel, you get that fucking dog away from me.
But I thought about that dog too. Not just because Kanan pulled up on them while they were walking their dog, but the dog was chill up until Kanan started asking questions. Now, I may not be an animal person, but I fucked with a nigga that breeds dogs. So I know when that dog, when your one starts getting tense, it's time for you to figure it the fuck out, Kanan. And again, he looked, but he wasn't shook. And it's not about being afraid of dogs, but it's in understanding the energy shift of the animal, thus, which would indicate an energy shift of the parents controlling the animal.
Yep.
Scruffy, nah, that's a pit. Fucking Bone is over here. Yep. Bone was chilling the whole walk, whole conversation. Kanan presses the issue on the police being on their payroll. First off, how the fuck you know we got police on our payroll? Mind your business. That's all. Just mind your business. There's that. But one would only assume that whichever one was holding the leash maybe tightened it, or maybe their back stiffed up a little bit, because that's the only thing. If you have a chill ass dog, that's the only thing that's going to make them sort of tense up and start barking at you, especially if they're familiar with you, which I can only assume, Kanan, you've been doing business with Snap and Pop for so long at this point, you've been around a damn dog. So it's not just barking at you. And if it wasn't barking at you at the start of the conversation, it's very odd for it to begin to bark at you midway through.
As a dog owner, everything you said is 100% correct.
Yeah.
Bodie is the most chill dog ever.
That's it.
Doesn't bark. Literally, like, probably the only time he barks is if someone knocks at the door.
I've never heard your dog bark.
He doesn't bark. He doesn't. My sister says it all the time. Like, is Bodie over there? I say, yes, he's chill. He's just chilling. I got to FaceTime just to let her know, like, Bodie's still here. He's still kicking it.
I can fuck with.
Yeah, that's why. Hey, listen, shout out to Bodie, man. Really, really easy personality wise. But I will say this: when I walk Bodie, there are certain people I will walk by and he doesn't even pay him any mind, and there's certain people where he'll stop and he'll look, and I pay attention to stuff like that because dogs know something.
Yep.
Right. If somebody says something, if somebody not necessarily, he's more on edge if another individual's conversation is going on. You know what I mean? Conversations happening, and I know right away I can have a conversation with someone. He's sniffing them and just being cool. Yep. And another one, he's just dead centered, stopped and looking, and I know what that means. So Kanan didn't pick up on it, but he should have. He should pick up on it.
Mama love dogs. Come on, man.
Putting all the pieces in front of us. This is going to be one of those what if moments when we look at the end of the season. What if Kanan never had this meeting? What if Kanan just maybe sat down and maybe thought about this a little bit longer, try to put some things together, because now he tipped them off.
And now you got Crystal in danger.
Now you got Crystal in danger because we see Snap and Pops meet on the rooftop with the officers, knowing that we got to talk to these goofy ass officers, which seems a little bit out of their range. It seems like they would be a little bit more involved in the vetting of the officers that they have. I wouldn't see them with these goofy niggas, but a cop on payroll is a cop on payroll.
For sure.
You don't just hand those over. Like you keep them because they have a lot of access. Once again, I mentioned the cinematography. There's that shot on the roof with looking down or looking up from a downward position with the building in the background. I just thought that was brilliant. But also, Snap and Pop's talking to these niggas crazy.
Bruh.
You goofy motherfuckers. And the cops are very, very nonchalant about this. Streets just talking. They don't know nothing. Nah, nigga. This nigga's best friend is asking us questions.
Yeah.
Didn't talk about it either. You didn't pick it up on at the time, but you put it together at this rooftop scene. Snap's asking Kanan, what are you hearing? Who are you hearing did it?
What you think?
Also, what you think. And also Pop making a point, because Kanan found out about Quan at that meeting as well.
Yeah.
Pop mentioning Rock's name.
Intentional.
100% intentional. They're saying it's Rock. Once again, just proving Rock can do anything. You want to find out what we heard? Okay, cool. You're looking for us. All right. We're the leak. Like we've just been hired to find ourselves.
For sure. For sure.
Shout out to the departed. But the cops now know, have to do some cleaning up. We'll talk to the Stark kid. Haven't got a hold of him, but guess what? We got eyes on this girl. And wait till she gets on that bus. We got questions for you. The detectives got questions for you. We're about to pull you out. Hopefully, this is what leads to Kanan kind of putting two and two together.
For sure.
We'll see if he gets 4. But I don't know. But Snap and Pops, man, very, very unassuming, very capable. But I, too, did not think of them. In a season where Rachel and myself have been making predictions left and right, not once did Snap and Pops come to my mind. So shout out to
Not at all. Not at all. I didn't see it. I did not see it at all.
Looks like we're at the loo of things.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that you have that we haven't covered yet?
We talked about Kanan, right?
Yeah, we talked about Kanan.
We just talked about Kanan. Okay, yeah. Shout out to Big Lou. Um, we open again with Lou and Imani and their love affair, which I think they're moving too fast because again, fresh out of rehab, you cannot be in a relationship. They tell you that. You can't even get it. If you can't keep a plant alive, like they say, start with a plant, then an animal, then you can fuck with a person. So Lou is all types of backwards, but Imani is pressing it like, it's his job. You put in work. Shout out to you. Daddy puts in work. Shout out to the game. Lou did his big one, and Imani is basically like, is this full time? Is this part time? I know you be gigging. Which
how many jobs you got, nigga?
Right. I guess that's what's up. Say what you want. I think it's interesting that she continues to let him know she can play too. I don't know if this is a tactic in game or what. It's weird to me, or an effort for her to try to protect herself from whatever hurt Lewis has the potential to cause her. Um Part of me thinks that she might be police a little bit.
Interesting.
Just a little bit. It's something I don't trust about her. And even if not police, then on somebody's payroll. Some sort of informant.
You just put an idea in my head that I haven't thought about, Rachel.
Ooh, what?
In the midst of all of this conversation between Lou and Imani, this full-time job means that we have to talk to each other. We have to open up. Your mother just passed. You're not talking about it, blah, blah, blah. Just the idea of her bringing it to Lou. We have to have more communication. I want you to open up to me. We'll talk about it shortly. Lou just did some shit.
Yeah.
She also works for the label. She knows Lowell. That's not going away. We still got some stuff to really discuss with the whole Lowell of it and the Be-Rilla of it. Is she someone that can be trusted? You just mentioned she's police. Even if she's not police, something just seems a little bit. Why you keep asking me that? Why are you pressing this issue so hard? If Lou opens up and really lets her in, like all the way, and kind of talks about who he is and the shit that he does, is she trustworthy?
No.
That is going to potentially be a problem for Lou.
For sure.
I didn't think about that until you just said that. Because I wouldn't have even thought about it had they not pressed the issue of her asking him to open up. If he opens up about that shit, interesting.
I just lost my mother. I was in rehab. All about my ex-girlfriend. For the little bit of time that we've had, even after that first record collection, too much about me already. And that's beyond being a record executive or producer, whatever the fuck Lou was actually doing at the label. And I said that then I didn't trust it. So the more we see her, the more she flipped out about Fame's sister. What is it? Jessica, Jasmine, whatever her name is. There was that. And now here you are. Is this full time? And it could very well be I'm mostly a one man woman, but I can get down. I'm just letting you know. Tell me how to play it. But something about it for me, and maybe this is my own mistrust of people, but something about it for me just doesn't feel like it's right. And so when the white engineer, when he was like, she's kind of a big deal, maybe. However, nobody at this label has not done some investigating. Everybody knows a little bit about Lou, this, and the third. I might not know enough, but even Lo knew that he had just got out of rehab, and supposedly nobody knew that. So whatever personal or private investigating she's done, I don't think that it's all on the up and up for the sake of being label mates or partners in this industry. I think it's some of that. You happen to have some good ass dick. I'm gonna keep fucking with that, you know. But also, I'm gonna get close to you. I too am gonna use what I got to get what I want. You know, maybe me finding information about you is leverage for somebody else that I care about. I can present Lou Thomas. I can get Olu out of jail. You know, I don't know.
Sure.
It's just something about her in the whole situation and her eagerness to be so quote unquote committed to him that I don't trust.
Yeah, he's had enough tragedy, so
For
I
sure.
don't think she's there to die. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think she gets caught in the crosshair. We've already seen that
Yeah.
with someone Lou was involved with. So yes, and she wouldn't be getting this much time if she wasn't there for some purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you, Rachel. You're on to something. Thanks for shedding that light, because once again, I wasn't even thinking about her in a way until
Mm-hmm.
you just said that. Um, Outside of Imani is when we really get into the thick of it when it
Yeah.
comes to Lou. Lou's in the studio. Be real is off. And it's not anything different. But this isn't the first time that Lou's kind of had looked at Be Real and was like, yo, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Be Real opens up. You know, they kick the engineer out and say, I gotta talk to you on some real shit, man. Like, remember that robbery at Lowell's house? Remember the murder? I was kind of involved, nigga. How you kind of involved in some shit like that?
Crazy.
Lets Lou know his role in it, and Lou, once he finds out who it was, the bookkeeper, the same way the bookkeeper knew about Lou Thomas or heard the name,
Mm-hmm.
Lou heard the name Kenyatta.
For sure.
And immediately said, no, please don't tell me you're not that stupid.
Is.
For one, I have to ask you, because we see Lou go to Kenyatta in the
Mm-hmm.
bookstore to kind of cape for Be Real. Like, man, he gave you some wrong information. There's nothing there. Did that surprise you at all? Did that surprise you that Lou stuck his head into that business when he didn't have to? Like, at the end of the day, I'm a record executive. If something happens to you, as fucked up as it is, it happens to you because you did some dumb shit. We talk about vouching maybe a couple episodes and what that means, Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
Him stepping into the Kenyatta store is him vouching for Be Real in a sense. Did it surprise you?
It's that, but it didn't surprise me because I also have to protect my investment. Let's not forget the money that Lowell put up for Be Real to get out of jail. Lou put that in place, but don't think that that didn't come as some charge or some interest to Lou.
Yeah.
This is on you. The same way Marvin has to vouch for early in this, that behind Stefano, and Stefano ultimately saying, my life, your life is in my hands because of this shit. Lou is in the same predicament with Lowell in regards to Be Real. I've put my neck out. I've put my name on it. I am in charge of you. And not only do I have to protect my investment, but because I vouched for you so tough, because I let you stay on my couch, if something goes wrong with this, there's nothing stopping Lowell from implicating me, even though I have nothing to do with this shit, because I put my name behind you.
Yeah.
Because you was supposed to be staying at my house. Because I said that I would keep you out of trouble. So let me protect you right fast.
Great points. And you just reminded me also, maybe there's a little bit more there too. Like, you're not just an artist because you were in my crib. I did get to know a little bit more about you. I know that you mean well. I know you're hustling while you're doing the things that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even though if we don't see it, maybe Riddler, when he tells him you were the one that was on some emotional shit when your man's got put down, knowing I got kids to eat, but now all of a sudden you don't like my music. I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a 1% feeling in Lou, like, you know what? I do owe you because I did slow down the train a little bit because I was going through some shit. I think what you said is the 98% of it.
Mm-hmm.
And more so, yeah, I ain't fucking with Lowell and his lawyers. And if this comes out, Lou,
Yeah.
you know about this, so let's go ahead and take care of the problem.
Yep.
I want to say one of my favorite things in televisions and movies is when we meet someone and I look at them and I say, I can't wait till somebody kill you.
Oh no.
And Julius was one of them niggas for me.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't wait for somebody to rock your shit.
Julius had way too much dip on his chip.
Nigga, who are you?
But also, shout out to his timing. That is what a good quote unquote wingman does and is. Now, it was interesting. Shout out to that in Kenyatta's shop. But sometimes, and again, I don't know nothing about that street life. But
I want to clarify. When I said shout out street life, I was talking about the song with Juke.
For sure.
I want to talk about the real shit. I don't know.
For sure.
I pay taxes.
Okay. I did an extension. I'm pay
Civilian behavior.
Civilian behavior. I ain't just not turn them in on the 15th. I took an extension. Okay. Sometimes in these shows, because obviously we don't live the life, all of this is vicarious. It's easy to see why number 2 is number 2. Julius, you can't even stay up for the stakeout. You hungry? Why you ain't bring no snacks?
Right.
You
straight up. We gonna be here all day.
You had the potential to know. You should have had the propensity to know that we could potentially be out here all day, all night. You've done nothing but complain in this car. And when Kenyatta was like, if you want to go out, let me know and I can pull up on you later. While that was a threat to his life, you could have just got the fuck up out of there since you died anyways. You might would have lived. But yeah, fuck Julius. I appreciated Lou going, quote unquote, Lou going into at least on some on some civilized, man to man, gangster to gangster. Let me just talk to you like that shit ain't real. He shook. There's no more money. Like that was enough to scare him into the banks or whatever it is that you had to say. Kenyatta wasn't going for it. Now, shout out to Ubuntu. I am because you are. I could have used another Kenyatta poem in the car or in the shop, even a haiku or something for Lou. You know, a haiku for Lou. I would have appreciated one last line, essentially, from him, just because I enjoyed it. The literary.
Well, he got a line. The line was, nigga, you ain't got no muscle. You a music executive. You let that white man pollute your body.
Crazy.
The drugs you've been putting into it. Who the fuck are you walking in my shop telling me to lay low off Be Rilla? That's what he was telling. That's what it came down to. And I also hate in films and television when a nigga come at you on the humble shit. And you got to show your ass now. Now I gotta put things in my hand.
I'm still a problem.
And I've never been soft.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you say, regardless of what my mom say, regardless of what Kenyatta done heard when I walk in and saying, nigga, you ain't that nigga no more. I done heard about your name.
That's crazy. Pause. Think about how all that alcoholism undid 20 years worth of Lou Thomas being Lou. 6 months of you being drunk undid.
You a burnout now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't know, nigga, you used to be damn homie.
You a damn homie.
In high school, you was the man, homie. The fuck happened to you?
We still were back. We used to call him, oh my God, he's such a damn homie.
That's clever. That's clever. That's one of the most classic lines ever, because that's some real shit.
For
like
sure.
Back in the day, you had a rep, but now you don't. And Kenyatta is as connected as I think he is. Nigga, we know that shit running the family. We know your pops is on some shit.
Yeah.
Nigga, we know your brother Marvin was on some shit. Here you are. Maybe that Thomas name ain't as strong. Maybe the hardest nigga in your crew is Rock, which is true. But still, there's no respect. And there's nothing worse than when you used to be that nigga.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter in any phase of life, street life, personal life. Think about the sports. You see it in sports all the time. Niggas not being humble enough to take their role, the back seat, because their glory days are passing. Like, you're not the star no more. Like, you're not the number one option no more. You're 35. Nigga, the knees ain't what they used to be. We got this young buck here ready to take over. Niggas don't want to get out of that limelight gracefully because they think in their head, I can still put up 40.
Yeah.
You can't do it every night.
And you can't
Maybe
do it
once in the blue moon, and that's how they look at Lou. And Lou says, no, nigga, give me the rock. I can still put niggas down and win MVP. And as we mentioned, he's having it out with Rilla in a lightweight, not real, but we all learned that it's a ploy, it's a play.
Yeah.
The one thing, if you watch enough of these shows and see people fighting in stakeouts, you never want to be the last person to the party.
For sure.
The recon has to be immaculate because essentially you're sitting ducks. And Lou, I'm gonna show you exactly who I am because I know one thing. I know for busy ass New York to have this one car sitting here all damn day. That don't seem right. So tell you what, even if we wrong, let's check this shit out.
Yeah.
You go outside. Matter of fact, Rilla, you know what kind of car this nigga drive? Oh, bet. Okay, they're waiting on us. Rilla comes outside. Lou creeps up from the back. Jumbo niggas. And I said it in the opening. It's not that he did it. It's the joy that he had.
For sure.
And that's one thing that's been a theme throughout this entire episode. The joy in the crime. The juke of it all in the gun. The rock in the work. The Lou putting down a body.
They really love this shit.
50's narration said it, but I missed this.
Yeah.
I feel alive again. I ain't seen Lou really smile like that since season 3. Maybe season 2.
Yeah.
Even when Lou was getting some, I don't see him with that same kind of like pleasure. Like, oh nigga, you was talking shit. You thought I'm soft? I loved it. I love the scene.
Yeah.
Once again, I talked about the cinematography. I love the walk down. I love the fact that Lou is back. Same way Marvin said it, baby brother, Lou is back. Lou is back.
Lou is back.
He's gonna have to be back because streets need a body, Rachel.
Streets need a body, and a war is coming.
It's clear.
And we said that, but niggas is on the front lines. You know, they're lining up.
Here we are. 46 minutes, but 46 minutes of incredible television, Rachel.
Absolutely.
One of the shorter episodes of the entire series, if not the shortest episode of the series. But let's talk about a couple predictions. We've talked about some. Do you have anything that you want to say? This is going to happen in the next 2 episodes?
Well,
we've talked about a lot throughout. So
yeah, I mean, next week is the penultimate, your favorite episode of every series. So I don't know what's going to happen. Crystal, we saw her get picked up by the police. Crystal ain't no snitch. And I believe Crystal to be Sean's mother. Just kind of off of what we've gotten. If she's not, interesting. If she's not, then maybe the police end up disappearing her, other than just questioning her, which sends Kanan into a further spiral.
Especially if he finds out that Crystal went to go see Rock and now she's missing. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Early meets his demise because Early finds out that Londell is dead outside. Who else would put him down besides Marvin? Even if he doesn't think Marvin did it, maybe he thinks that Marvin told Stefano. And so now Early has to go to Stefano. Which again throws a wrench in the relationship of Stefano and Marvin and Raquel. I don't know. I don't know whatever other prediction I have at this current juncture. We see Rock get her work. I think David is gonna fuck some shit up. I don't believe that David is going to come through in the clutch. So somebody's going to end up putting him down. Even if not next week, I think Unique dies in here in these last two.
Unique goes. Early goes. Unfortunately, I don't see a way around it. Marvin goes.
Damn.
I don't know how they access them. Snaps and pops should go. I don't think it happens.
Yeah.
Maybe an attempt. I don't think they just be touched like that. Yeah, and everything else that I mentioned throughout the episode. I said I don't know how the dots are going to connect, when the light bulb's going to go off, but it's going to in the next 2 weeks. The Garcia of it all, the police investigation of it all. There's a lot of things to look forward to. I have no idea where it's going to take us, but I can tell you from this episode 9 is going to be incredible. The episode is titled Peekaboo.
Peekaboo.
I just put the boogers on my chain. And we'll see what that means. So, Rachel, I don't have anything else.
I don't either. May the odds be ever be in all of our favor.
May they ever be in all of our favor. Happy May 4th. May the 4th be with you for those who celebrate. Until then, Rachel and myself will be back next week.
Today is the 3rd.
I know, but tomorrow they won't hear from us again. Before the 4th. So that's why I think
Happy Cinco de Mayo too, everybody.
Happy Cinco de Mayo too for those who celebrate. Also, we'll be back next week. No more breaks, obviously, because we have 2 more episodes, and I'm looking forward to it as always. So we appreciate y'all. Rachel, I'll let you take us out.
That's it. Y'all be cool. How y'all be cool. Pay attention to your surroundings. Y'all watch how y'all dogs act around people. Trust that. Peace.
We out.
Early. Bye, y'all.